Alright, everything seems to be working as intended. Good evening, afternoon, probably everybody who's awake at this point. It's afternoon to everybody here, and I hope you can join us for another Tactica Imperialis live stream, and I completely botched that intro. Anyway, welcome to another stream. I was thinking about doing it yesterday or today, but I held off until today. I said I was going to do the stream Tuesday or Wednesday, and, well, here we are. And I've got two mods. This is the first time we've had kind of two mods at once. Well, particularly two very active mods at once. So Ben and Rowan will certainly keep things in line. Sup? So we don't really have that much Ideneth news this time, which is fine, I suppose. You can't have it all, but there's a bit less for us to discuss on that front because this week we've had a little bit of a lore insight that's in the video form, and then the rest of it is there's another tactical video, but I can't really show that either because the way my streaming setup works on my PC, I can't record sound. So we don't have so much to discuss on that front, but I'm sure people will want to discuss the FAQs because we didn't get a chance to do that on Epis Podcasters. I have got a video coming out on Monday where I give my long form thoughts for people who want to see it in a single video format, but I'm happy to discuss them here, get a few ideas in and bounce them off, and that might actually make me re-record for Monday depending on whether this completely changes my opinion. I'll also be finishing off my second to last Vanguard Palador. I've done a little bit on him since the last stream, so I've done the scales and the fabric, and I've done the silver and the red actually, so I've done a bit more than I thought, but the main thing is the gold that I haven't done yet. Big FAQ. Did someone say beta strike? Sorry, beta. Sorry, I need to conform to Alexis. Beta. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one. The Mega Dread itself, I don't believe it got changed, or if it did, it will be in a separate FAQ. Because units have been limited on the amount of times they can be taken in tournament play. The rules for reserves have changed. The rules for soup armies have changed, but I can't think of anything for that. Plus, we don't have the Orc Codex yet. Yeah, I think it's a good FAQ. Certainly a good intentioned FAQ. Whether it's a good FAQ remains to be seen. There are certainly some things I can see being problematic with it, but it's a well-intentioned FAQ, that much I can say. Nerf to Death Guard. Yep, there's a nerf to Death Guard. Extra command points. Codex and indexes got update too. There's been a few points changes, but yeah. You're British, therefore you'll pronounce it correctly. Beta. Well, I don't know. I can't remember exactly how the Greeks pronounce it because it's their letter. But over here in France, they say beta. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. They pronounce it like that. Why is the Tau painted white now? They changed the official colour scheme from Tau to Viola sometime last edition, I think, when they reboxed the Tau range. The Codex art only changed in 8th edition, but the army boxes changed colour last edition. If not, if they weren't like that initially. Yeah, they changed when they reboxed them from their initial boxes to the sort of bluey background box. They changed over to Viola, so they've been Viola for a while now, rather than Tau. That Brigade Command Point boost makes one of Field Fiends. Yeah, I'm really glad that the big detachments have been incentivized. No, it's Barsley, that's should be as Alpha, Beta. And the argument between the mods has already begun. Yeah, I prefer to run battalions and brigades rather than patrols, so I'm fully on board with it. And the fact that soup has been nerfed / killed means that you're now incentivized to take bigger detachments because you can't just spam all your allies in little ones. So I think it is a good move. I do think it is a good move. Also, technically I'm Mancunian. I was raised in Barnsley, yes, but I am technically a Mancunian, so yeah. You two never change. Beta. That's very true. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta. epsilon. What's I don't know my Greek alphabet well enough. I don't remember the order of the Greek alphabet. Can you attempt to explain Battle Brothers Soup after the new FAQ? Yeah, sure. So basically what it means is the keyword that you use to select your army now has been limited. So, for example, in the past, people would take detachments where the common keyword, which you had to have, was Imperium or Chaos or Eldari or Yinari, which was extremely irritating. No, they've also bumped up the brigade thing to 12 as well. I should point that out. So it's 5 for a battalion, but it's now 12 for a brigade, not 9. I should point that out. But yes, as I was saying, the keyword that you used to have could be Imperium, which basically meant anything that was an Imperial army. So Space Marines, Sisters, Other Sisters, Custodes, Assassinorum, Guard, Inquisition, literally everything had the Imperium keyword, and you could take that in one detachment, and thus get a huge amount of benefits off of it, and do some really annoying things by exploiting some very nasty combos. What they've done is they've prevented you from using Imperium, Chaos, Eldari, Yinari, and Tyrannid as your keyword. So your keyword now might have to be Adeptus Astartes. It might have to be Chapter, or Hive Fleet, or Khorne. So this is a heavy nerf to armies that, oh for goodness sake, to armies that basically tried to run a tiny bit of the best of every codex to cheat the system. And that can't be done anymore. So you can still take thematic armies, so a mixed Space Marine force is still allowed. A mono Nurgle force, by taking the Nurgle keyword, is still allowed. The biggest loser in some ways is Tyrannids and Genestealer cults. Now, I don't think can be allied. And we'll have to see what the changes are for the various Eldari and Yinari factions, like what that does to them. Whether Eldari, because Eldari Soup is dead, but what effect that's going to have, we don't know yet. And I think you'd have to ask someone who's better at the game and more competitively minded than me what that's going to mean, particularly for the Yinari. I think the Imperium will get away with it a little easier, but in tournament play you should also bear in mind what you might think to get around this. Okay, I'll just have a tiny detachment, tiny detachment, tiny detachment, tiny detachment, tiny detachment. Where you just take like a basic patrol, and maybe there's a couple of units now that have been changed so that they don't give you minus command points. So for example, there are some units that don't have HQs. Some armies don't have HQs, so you can't make any detachment with them. Therefore, you have to take a Vanguard detachment, but that comes with a -1 command point penalty. But certain units like the Legion of the Damned, Sisters of Silence, have been changed so that they don't give you that minus penalty. So you might think, okay, I'll just take 1,000,000 detachments then and just do it that way. Well, you can't do that either, because in tournament play, at least, you're capped on the amount of detachments you can field. That scales with the size of the game. So they've it's mainly designed to stop tournament scumming, but it will also help in lower tiers in some ways, I think. Are you two going to be are you going to get drunk whilst modding my stream? That's not helpful. But yes, that's the long-winded version of the soup change, I suppose. Soup itself is sort of dead, or at least Imperial Soup and Eldari Soup, which are the main two ones, is dead. Yeah. Crick in my neck in a minute. I've got 14 people here. That's pretty good. Oh god. Great. So now I'm going to have drunk mods. Yay, drunk mods. No, I know that. I know that. I'm just saying this is going to be amusing if you guys get extremely drunk. And I don't know if that's the good sort of amusing. But hey, whatever. It's the way it is. Soup is now detachment soup. Yes, but as I said, as a sort of an asterisk, detachments are capped in competitive play, in tournaments. So you can't just take bajillions of detachments, because that's not allowed either by the rules of the tournaments. and I would expect that if detachment soup just becomes a thing, that might be applied as sort of a house rule by a lot of GMs and store owners, just to say, look, we'll play by the tournament rules unless you're playing a certain type of game, in which case go nuts. Silence. Don't know why you're referencing Mortarian's weapon, but okay, sure. So yeah, are there any other questions regarding the FAQ that I can try and explain? I'm not going to try and explain their impact because I'm not very good, and I'll try and maybe just get your opinions on that, because I think that's probably something that's worth doing for me, but or for everybody really, just to bounce ideas off of one another. But if you've got any questions, do let me know. Gold Chaos Index yesterday, got some nice kit bash ideas, for example, Chaos Lord or Sorcerer on a demonic mount. Yeah, I don't know what the Slaneshi one, I think in the past, you could give demonic mounts to Chaos Lords, that you could give Chaos Lords, Juggernauts, and Discs, and Palanquins, and Steeds, but I don't know if that's still a thing. I meant to ask, why didn't the World Eaters cut the Butcher's nails on Angron? Because they couldn't, it would kill him. That was the problem with the nails. They were either too complex or too deep-rooted. They could not be removed. Angron would have died had they attempted to remove them. That was the problem with the nails. The problem also was that they put the nails in, but hey. Thinking of making the chapter from the Cursed Founding, matching Space Wolf's Gene Seed with World Eater's Gene Seed. Okay. Well, the thing is with the Space Wolf Gene Seed, at least up until the Primaris Marines, you could not make Space Wolves from anywhere but Fenris. It was kind of a weird quirk that came along later, why the Space Wolves couldn't found successor chapters, was because anywhere they tried other than Fenris, you couldn't actually create Space Wolves. Now you could argue that the World Eater element stabilizes the Gene Seed somewhat and allows them to not degenerate into Wolfen, because that was the problem. But those that do go, you could say, are a bit more bloodthirsty. You could say that. But the World Eaters themselves were aggressive before they got the nails. They just, yeah, they were just more aggressive. How would the jump work with changes to Deep Strike? The jump is a psychic power, and it does not put you into reserve. It just moves you from one place to another. I'd have to go back and read Index Xenos 2 to clarify exactly. Do I have that with me? I do not. If I have my index, I check exactly how the jump is worded, but I don't think it's going to be affected because the changes to Deep Strike weren't for Deep Strike, they were for Reserves and Alpha Strike. That's what got changed. Reserves, teleportation didn't change. Simply, the arriving from reserve ability got changed. Not remove, just cut as in cut the butcher's nails, like cut the wires. Way too high risk. I think it would have still killed him. I don't know exactly how they were designed. I don't know the intricate inner workings of the thing. So I suspect that it would have been too difficult to do without causing a brain hemorrhage or something like that and killing him. You can drink what you want. I don't particularly care what you drink. Why would I? Yeah, we've been talking about the FAQ. I've already tried to explain the alliance, the detachment change, the soup nerf in effect, and I'm just generally just taking questions about it and discussing it because I find that interesting to do. Try and get people's opinions on the changes, whether they're good, whether they're bad, what exploits have been allowed, have been taken out and been allowed in, and how they think it will shape, how people think it will shake up. Because obviously, I'm just one person who doesn't play competitively. I've got a slightly different mindset with everything. In the meantime, I'm going to do a little bit of painting. Since the chat's going to be active enough that we can do this. What's the standard list in AOS? Some mates and I starting to understand the standard list points-wise. The General's Handbook has 3 recommended game sizes. 1,000, 2,000 and 2,500. They're the sort of matched play sizes that it recommends. You can go higher, but the game gets clunkier and clunkier the higher you go. So if you're building, I don't know what the tournament size is. You'd have to ask someone who actually does AOS tournaments. But the General's Handbook recommends 1, 2 and 2.5k as its match play game sizes, if that helps. I remember reading somewhere the Butcher's Nails actually replaced part of the victim's brain. Is there any change would be that? Yeah, it was just way too. I think I don't know the I don't remember the exact details, but that sounds like about right. You just couldn't tinker with them for fear of death. Standards for Eternity, it's 2k. Yeah, I had 2,000 in my head, but I didn't want to say with any certainty. And the General's Handbook also says like what unit caps you're allowed, so like how many heroes you're allowed, how much battle line you have to bring, how many artillery pieces you're allowed, how many behemoths you're allowed at each game size, just so you're aware. You could basically just go into the match play section of the General's Handbook and you'll get the main answers to the questions you're probably looking to get answered. Yeah, a 10,000 point AOS game would be extremely clunky for the simple reason of the combat system. Just think about doing the Yugo-Igo system and the amount of thinking that goes into the Yugo-Igo combat system, but applied to 10,000 points worth of combat. Have you seen the Alpha Legion Terminators? Yes, I have seen the Linnaeans. They look good. To be fair, everything in the Horus Heresy range pretty much looks good, so yeah, they look good. I don't know how powerful they're going to be because I don't know what 30k is like, but yeah. Does anyone feel thank God the Death Guard got hit hard? The change to save after a save, there's only now 1 allowed, is a good nerf. It's an expediency thing and it's also a balance thing. I don't know how hard it's going to hurt the Death Guard, but I do think it's a good change, yes. Have you read The World is gathering to attack Terra? What's your source on that? I haven't actually read that one. So what's your source? Oh, the only turn zombies once per game. Oh, Tide of Traitors got nerfed, didn't it? Yes. Tide of Traitors got nerfed. I forgot that one. That is definitely a thing that exists. So yeah, that is definitely a good nerf. I mean, I've not faced much chaos, and I've never faced Death Guard, so I can't really say with any certainty how powerful they were. Oh good, Rowan has alcohol. Now we're all screwed. You think both Alpharius and Omicron are dead, or is it still unconfirmed? I think at least one of them is dead. I think Alpharius is dead, and Omicron is probably dead, but we do not have confirmation. I find it unlikely that Omicron is still alive, but it is not impossible. That's what I'll say to that. Nice. Nice one. Hello. Not bad, thank you. Just been doing some revision because I have my exam timetable now. Well, I don't. I went and looked up when my exams are. So my exams are going to be from the 7th to the 18th of May. And thus, in that 2-week period, I'm probably going to be a little bit off the grid. Like, I should still have content, but just let you know, I might not stream during that couple of weeks unless I'm doing it as a de-stress mechanism. Go on, Ben, shoot. I'm curious if you think the Eldari trying to make Iliad will backfire horribly or not. I don't think they're going to go down the Slaanesh 2.0 route, but at the same time, I don't think they'll have Iliad kill Slaanesh either. I think... I don't think they'll ever advance the plot far enough that Iliad kills Slaanesh, but I don't think they will let Iliad fail either. What's the model you're painting? I'm painting a Stormcast Eternals Vanguard Palador. I should have seen that one coming. Inspired by the prospect of victory or raising the defeat of 10 millennia hence, the world is gathering great strength to make their own attack upon terror. Oh, interesting. I hadn't seen that one. The model actually is... I don't know what a Griff Charger is. I mean, I think it's like sort of based on a Hippogriff type thing, just without wings. So I suppose there's a bit of an avian side to it. Some things are not worth dignifying with an answer. That is one of them. Succubus to convert Kit Bash. Yeah, Succubi in a Slaanesh army probably is not a bad call. You probably make a decent conversion out of those if you know what you're doing. And the weapons are certainly interesting enough to take. Oh boy, here we go. The new proposal for the Eldari and the Imperials to become allies to fight against the force of Chaos and the Necrons. The entire species? No. But I did make a theory video about our Imperium Xenos alliance is possible. It came out, actually it was several weeks ago now. But it's in the theory playlist on the channel, so you can go and have a look at that if you like. Because I did it in full there. In short, it would be tenuous, but I don't think it's impossible. Corn Berserker or a Death Company Assault Marine? If you're talking gameplay wise, I don't know. I've not compared the two statistically. And it also depends on their equipment. 1,500 points. Excellent. I look forward to murdering it. Also, is that 1,500 points owned, or is that 1,500 points ready to put on the table? I don't know if I would say the Necrons don't care about the Eldari. I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, I know it's mean, but hey. Owned and built. Ah, right, okay, good enough. Yeah, I look forward to facing that. After all, you've got another 2.5 months to get it painted before I come home. Admittedly, you've got exams of your own to do, and I appreciate that. So, you don't need to be obligated, but it'd be nice. It would make a nice change of pace in battle reports from getting smashed by chaos. I think my first ever... No, I faced ogres like when AOS first came out. I'll agree with the Tyranids, since the Silent King gives a heck of a lot of a damn about the Tyranids. I don't know if they care so much about... I definitely don't think they're focused on the Tau. I really don't. And it will also vary from dynasty to dynasty. Every dynasty has their own interests and their own goals. Starting to twig things. Oh, Sylvaneth! Sylvaneth, huh? I thought you had like some extremis chamber. And, although to be fair, if you're like me, you could get away with keeping Stormcast and then having a second army on the side. Like you get Sylvaneth, I get Ideneth. So it's not that you'd have any reason to get rid of that extremis chamber if you have it. Having never played AOS, how fair would be a ballot in AOS 40? It would end very, very badly for the Mortal Realms. Very, very badly. Mainly due to tech. Although also having access to the warp. If the AOS is certainly not as powerful as the unit, but then again, 40k kind of beats all. That's kind of 40k's thing. 40k beats all. To some extent, at any rate. The only time it can be beaten by a strimmer. I'm assuming that means you'll be getting a Lariel. Bit of Starbucks Brett's just before that. Any suggestions on what to finagle them into? I would say just probably your best bet is the Free People's Knights, the Free Guild Knights. I forget exactly what was in that starter box, so it's hard to say. Because like if you had Pegasus Knights, there's really like nothing equivalent to Pegasus Knights at the moment. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's always good to... I enjoy what I do, so... You don't know who Alariel is? Alariel's the woman on the giant beetle. She's like a god. She lives in Gyron and she's ridiculously overpowered. I think. Oh, I can't do a New Day voice. I didn't do the bloody... I'm good at my job. Ladybug Lady. It's not a ladybug, it's a beetle, but I suppose if you really want to argue it, she's the elf on a giant thing. 1 Pegasus Knight, 8 Knights of Britannia, 20 men at arms, 16 bowmen. Your safest bet is the free peoples. So like the men at arms could probably be into sword or spearmen with shields, potentially. The bowmen obviously can be just used as archers. The Britannian Knights, a free guild knight, that's an easy one. The Pegasus Knight is very, very awkward because there's no such thing. What would you do with a Pegasus? Depends on how dumb it would look with the wings off, I suppose. If it looked alright with the wings off, you could turn it into like a mounted lord. I don't know what you do with the Pegasus Knight. This isn't a video, it's a live stream, so yes, the chat is on the screen and I'm reading it out as we go. It's a live chat, it's a live stream, it's not a pre-recorded video, that's for sure. The chat is delayed, yes. Basically just to stop there being a massive amount of potential lag and buffering. There's quite a high latency between what you see, what you see and what I see. So there is latency, but it is the same thing. The live chat is correlated to what comes on the screen. I think Space Tower is going to hold his own versus 40k. I don't want to get into it because I don't know the canon of that universe well enough. Like, I know 40k's space combat is utterly ridiculous, and 40k just has numbers and ridiculous tech. So I find it hard to argue against 40k, but I don't know. Yeah, just watching the podcast. Oh, cool. I'm glad. I hope you enjoy it. I do hope you enjoy it. Get Nalario one day. Well, that's good enough. That is good enough, and I don't think there's quite anything I can feel that can quite match her. Like, I don't think Marathi or the Eidolon of Matlan can quite keep up with Alarielle, but it will be a fun challenge to take her on. Do Primaris have a future? Yes. We don't know how long said future is or what it holds, but yes. Haven't finished it. That's fair enough. Just let us know what you think about it in the comments. As always, we always welcome your comments and your questions on Adeptus Podcastus, because that's just what we do. Yes, live from France, as I have been for the past 7 months now. I didn't stream while I was in England, so I've only streamed from France with this new setup, because I didn't stream over the Christmas break. I made a couple of videos, but I didn't stream. Have you played Dawn of War 3? I have not. Would I recommend it? From what I've seen, it's not the best Dawn of War game. I think it would just... Depends on what you're into. I'm not a good authority on it. You're better off going and speaking to some of the members of the 40k community who have played it and aren't just salt whining about it. Snipe and Whip, they're probably a good person to ask. That joke stopped being funny about 4 decades ago, but fair enough. Dawn of War 3 is a poorly cobbled together Dawn of War 2 game and Soulstorm. I I didn't play Dawn of War 2, nor did I play Soulstorm. So, but the fact that you're mentioning Soulstorm does not bode well, because Soulstorm generally does not have the same critical acclaim as some of the other entries in the series. Opinions on this year's F1, I have not even watched it. I don't really get TV out here, so I've not really kept up. Hopefully it's competitive. Basically, I don't want one team to run away with it. I don't want one driver to run away with it. And I want the races to at least be kept interesting throughout the field. If they can do that, then it'll be entertaining to watch. But at the moment, I don't particularly care, because I can't watch it. How often do you play 40k? When I'm at uni, hardly ever. Because I have my other academic commitments and the channel, and I generally just don't have the time. When I'm at home, we usually go into store once, maybe even twice a week sometimes. So I'm usually playing at least one game a week when I'm at home, but that's only probably 3 to 4 months of the year. Yeah, about 3 to 5 months of the year. I answered it because it wasn't a meme question. What are the tabletop games popular in France? I have absolutely no idea. Absolutely none. Because that would imply I had a social life out here, and I don't. Thoughts on the video for the Deacons today? I've actually not particularly watched the tactical video because I generally just am more concerned about just getting my hands on the rules themselves rather than that, although it might actually include some stuff, so I should probably have a look at it at some point. France is alright. I mean, it's different things to different people. For me, its education system is stuck in the dark ages. It really is. And desperately needs to catch up. But as a place, I don't have a problem with it, really. I don't really have a huge issue with it, if I'm being completely honest. It's been alright. I think I'd probably be better off at Manchester, but maybe that's just confirmation bias. It's just how the team how they made the rules go over the favourites. Okay. Okay, I didn't know if it was like a full-on like tactical insight. could contribute to your facehugger discussion, but I've not watched Alien, so. What are your thoughts on Space Marines on the tabletop not being close to the beings they are in the novels? Game balance. That's all it is. It's just game balance. If you wrote everybody like they were written in the tables in the lore, they would be unstoppable killing machines. And the Space Marines are better than everyone else, but they've truncated the system for the sake of game balance. That's all it is. It's just game balance. Can't be worse than the US system. I haven't experienced the US system. I've got friends in America actually at the moment. So I'm sure we'll exchange experiences when we get back to Manchester to see whether who had it better, who had it worse. So ask me in 6 months. That video had 20k views. I thought that video had more than 20k views. I need to go over the red anyway. There's bits that have come off, so I need to sort that out. Dr. Jennifer said the thing that everyone had to be taught in English for international students, and now a lot of students got sticking it and the units are dialing it back down. Oh, that's interesting. Because here, every single module I've had this year has been taught in French, bar one, which I didn't get to take. And yet next year, a lot of the nanophysics modules are getting rolled together into one English course. So that's an interesting thing you've said there. Meters versus feet. We use feet for... Oh, I can't speak for like the official UK, but we use the Imperial system quite a lot. Feet and miles. Like feet and miles and stuff like that cover heights and distances. Like long range distances, we say it's like 20 miles that way. And someone's 6 feet tall. But if we're doing like typical like day-to-day measurements, sometimes with a ruler or something, we'll generally do those in meters. And in science, we'll use meters because that's the SI system. It's the international standard. What's the weather like? It's been really hot today. It's actually been really nice weather. It's definitely been t-shirt weather. I would have to go and corroborate that one as to whether that's true or not. The metric system is definitely easier to calculate with, which is why we use it in science. But generally, we've just always used the imperial system for some things in Britain, and we've just stuck with it. And it's kind of odd like that. And sometimes we just use both. Like, people's heights will use both. Like, I personally am just under 6 feet, but some people prefer to give their height in centimetres. It's It's one of those things. School trip, nice. Seems like Europe's had a bit of a mini heat wave, so no complaints. Yeah, I'm sure it was an international thing. Considering it's the Standard International system, obviously there'll be a lot of people had a hand in creating it. And it will obviously come down to definition as well, that's true. Okay, is there everything else on here I need to do? No, I didn't. So just the helmet then? I feel like we're one of the very few places in the world that still uses feet for height. We're one of the. I doubt there's many countries, particularly in Europe, that use it. I know in France they don't. As far as I was aware, the heat wave was coming to the UK today. That's what my parents and my grandparents were saying in the last couple of days, that it was due today. America still uses Imperial. I was always under the impression that, at least for height, they used the metric. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Obviously, I've not lived in America, but I was always in the impression that at least for height, they use the metric. UK does have the heat wave. I'm sure. I have not been to Australia, in fact. I've been to America once. I've been to Canada once and America once, although someone went to Canada, I was like 7. It was a very long time ago. And I've not been any further east than Greece, or the Greek islands. Oh. Oh, the Imperial. Well, fair enough. Canada, we measure distance in time. Well, distance and time are inextricably connected. That's what we've been doing in relativity. With space-time and all that. But, yeah. Oh yeah, we'll say like a rough time estimate to get from place to place, but if someone like asked, it's about 10 miles that way, we will also say it's about half an hour over. It sort of varies. A lot of it is contextual. There's a lot of stuff with language that's contextual. It's raining in Ireland. Then it's always raining. Doing the gold step is always a pain. Star Trek or Star Wars? I never really got into Star Trek, so I guess I have to say Star Wars by default. 28 to 40, jeez. I think your public transit system is bad. The British one is, it has its problems, the British public transport system. It's not terrible, but it's got its problems, that's for sure. Okay, so I need to redo a bit of the black, a bit of the red, and a bit of the purple in particular. Yeah, purple, black, and red. That's the red. I haven't. In truth, I have not had one of what you would call the rustic French dishes. I've generally just kept myself to myself and done the basics because, well, one, budgets, and two, not been fussed or anything, really. Roasting the new Star Wars movie. Let's just do something that's popular because the internet said so. Yeah, I wouldn't have said tripe at all. That's a very British, much more of a British dish in my. I've never had it myself, nor do I care to, but it always struck me as being British. I'm just going to stay out of the Star Wars Star Trek debate because I get the feeling it's going to get quite heated otherwise. It might get heated anyway. There's nothing I can do about it. That's true, tea is very British. Certainly don't see much tea over here. I'm going to try and build a Lawyer's Thousand Suns chapter when I'm finished with my Ultramarines armor. I'm going to use Armin as the chapter master. Okay. That would be interesting. I don't know what rules you'd use for them. Because obviously you can't use the Thousand Suns rules because they're a bit too demonic. Or chaotic in general. Yeah. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, so I'm just gonna leave it hanging. Listen to audiobooks. Not particularly. I know I should. I really know I should. But I either don't have time or the inclination to do so, if I'm honest. That's true. That's also true. Right, is that the red neat? No, almost. There we go. Fixed. Well, that depends on where you're from in the world. A lot of these things, that where you think of when you think of something, is a lot based on where you are in the world. And Rowan echoes it, or actually said it first, because by the time that you've seen him say that, he's already said it. Thousands of pre-heresy are using modern 40k rules for the chapter, but whose rules? Because like, you can give them a chapter tactic or whatever. Whose would you use? I still can't fathom Nikea. How is he planning on dealing with demons? Yeah, Nikea's a weird one. I mean, I did an entire video dedicated to Nikea, and there's still many questions left in. And I don't think we'll ever get the answers to most of them. But hey, that's the way it goes. Sup? That's too watery. Do you people know that most Swedes watch dinner for one on New Year's Eve? I did not know that, and as intriguing as that is, that's okay, fair enough, I suppose. Fair enough, I suppose. I can't really say any more or less than that, because I don't really know how to react to it. Ah, do you put the milk in first? I always put the milk in last if I'm brewing tea for someone, but some people, I suppose people have their own preferences. Maybe borrow some rules from Grey Knights. Yeah, like Grey Knights you might be able to borrow a bit from, but they've got a lot of their own gimmicks, and it's kind of hard to say whether it would work and not just be too immersion breaking. Finished First Heretic good, but feel less sympathetic for Lorgar. Interesting. I think the First Heretic is definitely an interesting one. It certainly creates discussion. I mean, I need to have a proper look into it myself before I come to the conclusion. But again, I don't like Lorgar anyway. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Lorgar from having studied him as part of the Legion series. So, I doubt my opinion. If that's your opinion, I don't know what everyone else's opinion is, but I feel like it wouldn't sway me as much. And I'd just be like, oh, right, yeah, that's just typical Lorgar. Finally got Assault on Black Reach. Wow, I didn't realize that was still on sale. Oh, then again, you probably had to eBay for it. But yeah, because I had Black Reach, it was the first box I ever bought. Good box, really good box. I will say, really good box Assault on Black Reach. I wouldn't like to say what I do in charge of GW. Like, there's not, like, I'm not business savvy enough to know what would be a good decision to make, because sure, there's some fan things I'd want to do. Like, can we make sure that every AOS faction gets a release as quickly as possible and all that stuff, but you can't ask too much of the designers, so you've got to be realistic about it. Ta-da. Oh dear. let it happen. Just let it happen. Dearie me. Also, let's get this arm piece attached because since it's come off the frame, I need to put it somewhere. You did. You did. But hey, it is the way it is, and I'm not gonna worry about it. Also, good, that's in about the right spot. Got an eBay for €60. The previous owner even primed the models before he sent it out, and in a miniature case and a few copies of White Dwarf. Wow, that's good. What faction would be next for AOS if you got to pick? Once the Idoneth were done, I'd say a Destruction faction. So I'd like to see something for the Goblins. So make sure Destruction get a faction. Then probably a Human faction. So yeah, a Goblin faction, a Human faction, a Death faction, and then Slanesh in that order. Probably. I'm not sure though. Like, I'm willing to roll with whatever they go with, but they're like factions I think need doing. Yeah, it was a good box. Black Reach was a really good box. I can't argue that. It was the first box I ever bought. Yeah, my Orc army was built off of the back of that. I think every single model I ever bought in that box has now been converted. I converted the Warboss to have Zagstruck's weapon. I converted the boys with little extra bits. The knobs, I think I've done a lot of weapon swaps since I got the modern knob kit. The Deathcopters, actually I didn't convert the Deathcopters. They just broke. Free go with Cog Forts. I don't know about Cog Forts because that's kind of like borderline nicking off the Caradron, but definitely something for free guild would be good. Hi. Oh god, now we're having arguments about who drinks the most coffee in the world. Alright. How have we been going for an hour? Where did that last hour go? Bloody hell. Last hour just flew by. Cogforts are free guild using protected the cities like Hammerhall. Yeah, but the free cities are like occupied by every race. Admittedly, yes, it's maybe not the Caradron's gimmick, but I don't know. I feel it's more a Duardin thing. Like, steampunk is going to be the dwarven gimmick rather than the human gimmick, I would expect. I'm not going to dignify that with a response. We're not getting the Second Legion. We're not getting the Lost Primarchs. That's just not happening. I can tell you that for nothing. Right, so am I ready to start attaching some stuff? No, I want to do the dry brush, and then I might I could do the dry brush, then get the guys. Hmm. So I get you on after doing the dry brush. The wash would be awkward, and I think I can attach the other rain at this point. Beans on the Sylvaneth, I've never faced them. I've never been fussed for collecting them either, but I've never faced them, so I'm looking forward to facing them actually. They're an interesting look. Not my favourite, but an interesting look. And interesting idea, although how powerful they are, I don't know. I've not really looked into their lore hard enough to say for sure what I think of them. But I think they're pretty cool. But just not my favourite Order faction. Like between the Iron Death, Daughter Decane, and actually Fire Slayers, I think are my sort of top ranked AOS Order factions, because I'm an Order player. There was only ever going to be one string I was going to play, and that was going to be Order. What are you going to do with your Sylvaneth, by the way, Ben? Are you thinking just like endless horde of dryads, or is it going to be more based around the treekin? So like, are we going to see Troika Hammerdreth, branch wraiths? I don't know what you're thinking. Like, you're thinking big guys, little guys, everything in between guys. I think it's probably be curious to know what you're going to do. If you have any idea / have the battle tome and have come up with a plan. Also, do you need their allegiance abilities? Because they're in the General's Handbook 2017, so I can send them over if you so happen to need them. First model is outside. Sure, send it my way. Share it on the Twitter machine, and I'm more than happy to retweet it as well. If it's ready, then by all means put it on the Twitter machine and I'll share it. Hello. Someone's play it and they are fun. Good to hear. Right, I'm just going to get a piece of kitchen roll so I can do my Mechanica Standard Grey Armour Dry Brush. So I'll be 1 second. Actually, I might take this opportunity to take a very quick break, get myself set up for the next setup. Also let Ben get the image to me, and do I have a snack? Yeah, I have snacks. So very quick snack. So we'll take a very quick break, get a drink and all that stuff, and I'll be back very, very soon. So see you in 5. Well, I should have known Ben was going to troll me like that. If you must know, he tweeted me a picture of a tree in his garden. Not a Sylvaneth. It's not a model. That's why it's not worthy of a retweet. Ah, dearie me. Whatever. On we go with the show. So now we're adding hot chocolate into the tea versus coffee debate, are we? Oh boy. That's not going to end well. Right. Other leg. Lemonade made of fizzy water and Fanta. So, diluted Fanta then? That's just dilute Fanta. I feel like I'm missing a trick here. It's fine. Nah, it's fine. It's a discussion. It's better that it's about something random than nothing at all. I'm not gonna complain. San Pellegrino is sharp. Like, I've had the San Pellegrino Limonata and the orange, and it is ridiculously sharp. It's nice, but it's sharp. And no, because it's not a model. It's a bloody tree. It's not a model. If it were a model, then I would have done. As in a Sylvaneth model of yours, not just a random model of a tree, before you get any bright ideas, you're flipping smart, Alec. Right, let's do these washes, I think. Paint's going alright, base coat's done. I'm just going to do the washes now, leave this to dry, and then probably just do the highlights and then finish the model and call it a stream. So I want to get this model done before we go off air, that's for sure. Then I just add something into my notes for my magnetism course. And then I'll be done. I think Fanta varies a lot between Britain and Europe. Continental Fanta is very different to British Fanta. I've noticed that. I mean, I should have seen that one coming because you're you, but I didn't know if you had genuinely started collecting that. You could have done. Like, for all I knew, you could have actually started. Like, it's been a while since I've seen anything from you hobby-wise, so I didn't know. That was in the End Times. Yes, I did hear about that. That was many years ago. The End Times is old news. I remember covering the end of the End Times on the channel. Well, I made a very short video, which was the last paragraph of the end of the End Times. So yes, I'm very aware of the end of the End Times and how it all panned out. Well, that would explain why it's now owned by the Coca-Cola company, isn't it? Isn't it owned by the Coca-Cola company? I feel like it is. I feel like Pepsi owns... the people who make Pepsi own Tango, the people who make Fanta is Coke. Let me check. Yeah. Oh yeah, Flat Fanta's terrible. Remley's made reference to it, yeah. I don't think he quite said it like that, but yes, he did make reference to that. I think I'm worried about in the big epic here is how will the tactical reserve rule change or affect demon summoning. That I don't know. I don't know how demon summoning is worded. I don't know how it combines the tactical reserves rule. So you're better off asking someone who's not me. Or maybe just go and asking at your local GDL if you've got one. I see. Interesting. If that's the true origin story, then that is definitely interesting. The two stories don't entirely corroborate one another. Does not affect the demon summoning rule. Like if it's summoning rather than like units being placed in reserve, I don't know what the interaction is. Closest GW is 8 hours away. Rip. Rip indeed. Sad times indeed. Units have been nerfed in some regards, but not massively. Yeah, I feel like that's. I feel like every army has been modified by this. I think some will have gained. Like Alexa seems to believe her sisters have gained because of the nerf to Alpha Strike, but I couldn't speak for most armies. Any army that was vulnerable to Counter Strike, or to Alpha Strike, that didn't run it itself, has gained. mean, I wasn't saying that either of you were wrong. I'm just saying that they didn't 100% agree with each other. Because that was all. I mean, it might have been that both were true. The figure to base thousands as chapter of rules of the Ultramarines with the genetic instability of the Blood Angels. So, who's chap? So, give them Ultramarines rules, but also the floor to represent the flesh change? Then how would you represent that in the game? Would you just not, why not give them basically Blood Angels chapter tactics then? It's not reserved, that's how the Gay Knight, Gate of Infinity and the Necron's Clockwork. Same, they're not affected. Hear the rumour floating about a possible Blood Angels movie. That is the very first time I've heard that one. That is news to me. I mean, it's cool. As long as it's better than the Ultramarines movie. It's a cool concept. It's got to be handled well. And with a good writer, some voice actors who want to do it and who care about the project. It's just got to be handled well. Because we can't afford another bad one. So well, not all that TBH. If they were, they'd be dominant events and they're just not. Also may have parts wrong. No need to apologise. Everyone has a version of events and they're all right to some extent, unless they're deliberately flat out lying. They're all to some extent correct. Like it being made in the 1940s to do with Germany makes sense. That you agree with that? That probably make more sense. If you want to represent the floor, then give them a rule that represents the floor. Because if you say they've got the flesh change, then you need to reflect that in their battlefield, and you want to reflect that on the battlefield and not just be a lore thing, then you need to represent that in their rules by giving them, well, in this case, the flesh change. Or maybe the Curse of the Wolf when that comes out, we'll see. The Ultramarines movie just didn't live up to what it could have been. I've not watched it all the way through, but I feel like they just could have done more with it. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba. The warrior is a wording in demonic summon says they're treated as reinforcements. That's probably because you have to pay for them, I'm guessing, something like that. And that's why they're treated as reinforcements, but it doesn't say they're placed in reserve. That's the difference. They're not placed in reserve, I believe. I'd need to read all the rules and cross-check and check everything before I could say with any certainty what the official ruling will be. The more content in the movies, that's what makes them dull. I suppose. Well, yeah, I'm doing the greenwashing then too. Staggered on scale, highlight to finish. Not staggered on scale, Hellion highlight to finish. Well, they don't play 40k, you'd be bored because of all the Hangtime fans were bored because there was too little content. That's the same fatal flaw both times, then there just wasn't enough stuff. Do the Loyalist Space Marine chapters still use chain axes or not? Yeah, the Carcharodons do, I believe. The Carcharodon Astra, I think they still do. I don't know how many chapters still use them, but I know some do. I meant to have that really good animation. I believe the plot is focusing on a squad of Primaris. Well, that movie's dead in the water because the community will just backlash it because, Primaris, The two-strike rule, the only army they got hit with its Grey Knights, they need to be able to Alpha Strike, and to Alpha Strike needs Deep Strike, so they're going to fall to bottom tier. Well, a Deathwing Dark Angel army will take the same hit, as will Blood Angels, who might rely on it. So it's not just Grey Knights who've been hit by that. Yeah, I've got no problem with the Primaris. I'm intrigued by them, but there's just, you know what people are like. with them. Yeah, they're certainly a lot less seen these days, that's for sure. I'll agree with you there. Demons that summon by paying command points are affected. Summoning is not great outside of open play. I see. I think it's just one of those things that they need to be super clear about with demons and just get it clarified one more time, like get a proper errata for them. Hopefully maybe the demons FAQ errata will be published soon. Like the production, dislike the fans. Ouch. The Primaris definitely do need characters. More lore is always appreciated, but they mainly need just people we can get behind who aren't written like bloody Mary Sue's. But we do need characters for them, that's for sure. I think what I'll say about the communities sometimes is that we do sometimes jump down Games Workshop's throat a lot, and it becomes a bit of an echo chamber, and it gets... There is a lot of vitriol and salt in the community. There really, really is. Generally, we're not a bad bunch. I mean, as part of said community, I can testify that most of the time people are fine. But yeah. It could be... We could be better with it and just, like, being more open-minded and trying to, you know, roll with it a bit. More weapon options? Yep. That's a very fair point. That's a very fair point. More weapon options. Never hurts to have more weapon options. These likeable characters that are relatable. Rumors of the movie basically ignore the origin story of the Primaris. That's an interesting workaround. One model I'm working on a Stormcast Eternals Vanguard Palador, the second to last model in my collection, actually, for the foreseeable, because I kind of have exams and stuff coming up and they take priority every single time. Even if I don't care so much this year because it's the French system and it's broken, I still have to focus. So no more hobby for a time. The only thing that should be salty, the Cacaradans, the Ideneth. But we can be incredibly salty. That's true. I wouldn't want to compare to Magic because I don't play Magic and I'm not in the Magic community, so I'm in no place to comment on that. But we can get incredibly salty, and it is a problem sometimes. It is a problem. I do wish sometimes we were a bit more open-minded, not just with releases, in terms of like lore improvements, model releases. We do need to be open-minded about these things, always. I've always wanted people to just try and go at things with an open mind. It's what I've said about Age of Sigmar, it's what I've said about many, many things. Just try and keep an open mind about it. See what you think after you've had a read and had a play test. First in chapter improved 2018, they'll go down in points. Well, yeah, I mean, everyone wants everyone wants their own army to get buffed when a FAQ or a patch or a chapter approved comes out. It is a bit of a pipe dream. Generally, I just hope for generally good balance, as far as possible anyway. just generally good balance is what I'm hoping for. Cloak. Fair enough. I can say I don't have the experience to draw from really to counter or corroborate that. I can't just kill everything they see. I'm not kidding. I mean, I've just done a video on the Gargaridans. They don't just kill everything. They are very, very vicious killers, yes, but so is every Space Marine. I mean, in some ways, the Minotaurs are more indiscriminate in their killing because they attack just as heedlessly as civilian casualties. So, what makes them any better? Generally, armies don't get their own separate FAQ because, well, why should they? They get one after their codex come out just to make sure that all the rules have been clarified. But why would an army get another one unless it was a full overhaul? And I don't think the army's getting that at this time. Right, that's the washes done. So I'm going to leave those to dry for 5 minutes. Actually, no, it isn't the washes done. I need to do these. Bollocks. Great. Hang on a minute. What is it with me and bloody non-oil? Me and non-oil are not friends. Everyone got an FAQ 2 weeks after their release. That's just the way it is. They don't get another one. They got the big FAQ appended to their own FAQs, but that's all. Gargaridans might be Night Lords. It's heavily theorised and possibly true. We don't know for sure. So I sort of gave both options a chance in the video on them. Some codexes, indices and chapter 3 have got a minor update. Oh, I see. I didn't realise that Army's got a second patch apart from just having the big FAQ appended. I thought it was just the big FAQ got appended. So, my bad for misunderstanding that. Yeah, like there's definitely an argument for them being Night Lords. I'm not going to say they're not. There's an argument for it, but there's also potential argument for it with the Ashen Claws, the Raven Guard. Why are the Red Scorpions hated so much? Well, watch this space and you'll get to learn a bit more about them soon. You'll learn a bit more about them soon and maybe that will give you more of an idea. And it ain't because they're unlucky. needs clean. Okay. I cannot see them being ravens because the tactics and the mutations are more in the line of Night Lords. Like I say, it might be more likely that they are Night Lords, and I'm inclined to believe they are. But I don't want to rule out the other possibilities, so I leave it open when I discuss them. Tempted by the new Dreadnought character. Oh, yeah, what's his face? Oh, what's his... Carib Cull, former Chapter Master. Actually, still technically Chapter Master, though he doesn't really run the roost anymore. He's very violent. Are we talking about the Carcharodons here, or are we talking about the Red Scorpions? Right, we've got two chapters up for discussion at once here, and it's hard to keep track of who's who. The Minotaurs have got the berserker reputation of just going, like, really getting quite angry and stuff like that, whereas the Carcharodons are much more cold and calculating than that. What do you think we'll get to see in AOS Total War 4, or GW just make them stop at 3 and we continue to AOS lore is more fleshed out? The challenge with doing AOS in Total War, or sorry, a Total War style game, is the way the realms work. So you'd only be able to make the fight take place in one realm. You'd have to know exactly how that realm was laid out and connected together. You'd have to make realm gates work, which would be awkward. And a lot of armies fight very differently these days. So the Idoneth don't hold territory; they raid and go. The Daughters of Cain, they have their cities, but they don't really found them. The free cities are extremely rare. There's not that many camps to hold. I think we'd need to see a lot more cities spring up within the realms founded by Order or by other factions before we could really do that. Because Destruction don't hold territory. They just smash through and move on, sort of. It's kind of an awkward one. So about Space Marines, basically the Space Marines unkillable tanks, basically doesn't get to their power, and that's the challenge with the writing. You've got to be careful with them. The Red Scorpions, just wait. I've done a lore video. I'm doing a lore video on them. Be patient. The Red Scorpions is a successor chapter to the White Scars. We might be talking about somebody different then. To me, they came across as Ultramarines. Most likely. Oh, excuse me. That was an unintended moment. Anyway, I'm going to do some bits together now. So I can glue those two bits on. So yeah, I can glue you on. I can glue you on. Tempted by Minotaurs, Carcharodons or Red Scorpions, having issues choosing. Well, once I've done my lore videos on all three of them, hopefully you'll be better informed about them as chapters, so you can hopefully make a more informed decision. I hope that I help with that in some way. Favorite chapter with the biggest mystery around them? That kind of has to go by default to the Blood Ravens, I think. Kind of by default, go to the Blood Ravens. Plot twist to actually Salamander's successors. Extremely unlikely. I mean, never say never, but exceptionally unlikely. Given, well, one, the Salamanders were not known to have founded any successors, at least not until maybe the Primaris era. Don't know. Actually, are there any Salamander descended Primaris? I'd have to go and look that one up. I'd need to check if they've got any successors who are Primaris. I mean, I feel like they should, given, like, the Space Wolves do, but I don't know. I've not actually looked into that. Favorite chapters: Black Dragons, Carcharodon, Salamanders, Blood Angels, Alpha Legion. Spot the odd one out. Yeah, Black Dragons, I've read The Death of Antagonists, so it was a long time ago, but I have read The Death of Antagonists, so yeah, Black Dragons are pretty cool. Carcharodons, yeah, if you like that sort of thing, I get it. Salamanders, I was taken by the Salamanders doing the Legion series on them. I did enjoy learning about them in the Legion series, so I'll give you that. Blood Angels, yep, they're badass, and the Alpha Legion just there because memes. Do I want to glue anything else? Yeah, I do. I want to get the torso on before I do the final assembly. So I'm going to do this step now. Looking at the red scorpions now. Okay, fair enough. That would work. I mean, you could just wait for my full video on the topic, but you know, details. And again, I suppose people are impatient. This is the internet in 2018. Blood Dragons have done... I'm not sure what that means. Oh, Primary Space Marines. I don't know about Black Dragons, actually. Again, like, I don't know. Many questions to which I don't have the answers. Well, that's one way of looking at the Alpha Legion, I guess. Right, so let me get you locked in, and then we get you locked in. Perfect. Salamanders did have a Black Dragon in their ranks for a while. I don't remember that, but fair enough. Just there to test the Imperium. Judging by the whole Cabal story, I'd be inclined to say that's not quite the case, but okay. And Vord would have a love-hate relationship. Yeah, the Force Raw models are utterly stunning. They are. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, this is dumb. Why do you not attach at the torso? Like, why does the torso not attach to the steed? Like, at all. It doesn't touch. It's just the leg. God, Struth. That's ridiculous. Alright. Alright. If you want to do it that way, we'll do it that way. And if I'm going to do this, I should probably put the other leg on, but don't want to let that dry. Where Red Scorpions seem to be possessed of the Iron Hands. Okay, explain. Go on, explain your theory. Alright, so that piece of the assembly done. Let's try and get the other leg on. If we can. And then we'll see. Oh, success of the salamanders, other now. I don't believe that's ever been confirmed. Or if it has, I missed it. If that's been confirmed, I missed it. So you might be right, but I didn't see that particular piece of information. Maybe I should do a video on the Black Dragons one of these days. Probably should, now I think about it. Wow, this is actually going to go together perfectly. No! No, 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 no. Flip. The Heresy Hero Dreadnoughts were amazing. Yeah, I particularly like the Psychic Dreadnought. Obviously, biased, Thousand Suns, but the Psychic Dread looks amazing. Black Templars, agree. Salamanders, agree. Imperial Fists, not so keen. Get it, but not so keen. Carcharodons and Blood Ravens. The 30k Custodes, but flip Valdor. Valdor's model is overdone. I'll give you that. I like Valdor's character, but his model is not great. By the standards of the 30k character series, it's just overdone. I'll agree. Alright, I'll do the Black Dragons in a video. We'll clear it up once and for all. I'll do the Black Dragons in a video. We'll see if I can clear it up there. It might be a short one, but I think I should do that. Some of the characters work closely with the Iron Hands. Okay. And oh, the 30k fists are cool. I'm not saying that they're bad. They're just not my favourites. Like Pollux is cool. Sigismund is cool. I've got no problem with them. They're just not my favourites. That's all. Prefer the Crimson Fist to the Imperial Fist myself. And the Black Templars, so I prefer both their main successors. I should have realised that Kitten was going to come into this eventually. So what else have I got to attach? Head, gun. I could attach the gun. I could attach the gun. Nah. Heritage Dreads are sweet, that's why I'm going to Hellforge some to my Chaos Space Marine army. Ooh, if that works, I'd be interested to see how that works. I hope that works good, and if it does work, then do show me. I'll be very interested to see what it looks like. Okay, that looks to have dried, so time to start a bunch of dry brushes. Starting off, Hellion Green. And Hiccups. Rest of Forge Work Custodians is stunning, but the spear upgrade don't tell you what arm to use. Ooh, that's a little awkward. I mean, I'm sure with a little bit of thinking about it and dry fitting you can work it out, but yeah. The Word Bearers one. I'm not sure I know which one that is. To go and remind myself of some of the dreadnoughts. Is that like the iconic... I want to call it the Iconoclast Dreadnought, but I know that's wrong. Oh, go away. Blood Dragons and the Storm Giants' success of the Salamander has been confirmed. Right. Okay. If it's been confirmed and you have a source that can prove that, then I'm not in a position to argue with you because I don't know. Oh, actually, I've been meaning to mention, I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this in the chat. Has anyone seen the Dawn of War song that came out today? The Dawn of War 3 song. Has anyone seen that? It just hit me then that I saw it and nobody's mentioned it. It's a pain. Next week we get the Fire Pikes Terminus. Oh, Fire Pikes. That makes me think that's the salamander. Oh, the Fire Drakes, the Terminator, the salamanders. I'm guessing that's the salamanders anyway. No, yes. The Margal, the ones that could possess contempt. Oh, I'll have a look at that later. If I remember, I'll have a look at that in a bit. It's alright. Yeah, like, it's obviously not super... Like, you tell he knows what he's doing. It's like, you know he's not also not played 40k. Like, there was not a single good lore reference in there. There's a couple of good references and good lines, yes, but like, in terms of lore references, it was certainly not the most lore-ish. Custodes Fire Pikes. Okay, I didn't realise that was their name. Sorry, I saw fire and assumed salamander. Yeah, if there's rules for it, why not? And I hope it looks good. I hope it comes out well. Bonk. Why am I whistling that tune? I don't know. The classic Dreadnought Castaferum or Mortis pattern. Was it? Yeah, I love that the end is like shout out to Bolt Thrower at the end. I thought that was really cool. I saw that was like shout out to Bolt Thrower. I was like, yes, great shot, well played. It's what they call the... Yeah, I was going to say, I thought the Custodes Terminators went by a different name in 30k. I know that the Alaris Terminators in 40k, I didn't know what the name was in 30k, but I didn't recall it being that. That's actually come out alright. I wasn't sure how that grey with white would work, but it's worked alright actually. Home by the end of the year, a Telemon Dreadnought and a Spear Dreadnought. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. I'm hoping by the end of the year I'm going to have a Eidolon of Matlin and a Doom Turtle and Sharks and Eels. I want I want 2,000 points of Ideneth by the end of the calendar year. I don't think I'll get 2,000, but I certainly want a usable Ideneth army by the end of the calendar year. So, I mean, this Stormcast army has got like nearly 4,500 points in one academic year. I can make a huge army quite quickly if I get the right combination of boxes. Admittedly, it helped having Blight War and it helped having the Vanguard Brotherhood, I'll admit. Without those, I would certainly be a lot less far along. I'd probably spent a lot more money and all that as well. But I think I can certainly get, by the end of 2018, to have 1,000 to 2,000 points of Ideneth. Particularly if they get to start collecting. I don't know if they will, but I hope they do. Maybe 10 Namati Thralls, an Alapex, and a Soul Render? Something like that. That's what I'm going to guess. Link the Dread on Twitter. Okay. Zadbucks. Need Deepkin Birds with at least one Doom Turtle and some Sharks. Ooh, wow. Okay, that's a thing. Bloody hell. Okay. Okay. Houses. That's a thing. That's a thing. If I could ever convince myself buying 300 plus models, I'd so buy a Mastodon. Okay, that's an interesting choice. If I went for that size of model, oh god, I'd probably plump for something like an Alvana, but probably 2 Yavaras probably would be more my thing. Right. What colour do I want to do next? I'll go away. Red? Red, then I can get the cloak on. The Red Scorpions have a pure genes, no mutation, so immediately this rules out the Space Force, Blood Angel, Salamanders, Raven Guard, White Scars, and the Iron Hands. Well, they're almost perfectly pure. It's not absolutely 100%, I don't think. I think there's like a tiny glitch in the Betcher's gland, if I remember correctly. I think it's in the Betcher's gland has got a defect. But their purity is certainly means that it's most likely not one of the very unstable ones, that's for sure. It's a bit of a stun red. Should also do the silver highlight after this, then I can get the bolt thrower on. Look at a Titan. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I don't play an Imperial army, so a Titan wouldn't suit me. And there's nothing on the grand stage for my AOS armies. Orcs, tempting, but I don't play them enough, I don't think. I don't play them enough to justify it. And yes, Ben has a Warhound, as he never fails to remind everyone he has a Titan. And a Brass Scorpion. And a bunch of other Forge World crap. Got a Primarch in our gaming group. I know I do, obviously, because I've got Magnus. I'm trying to think if anyone else has a Primarch. Obviously, 40k, I think. Yeah, Ben's got Magnus. I don't think he's got Mort. So who else got 30k Primarch? I think it might just be me. I think it might just be me, yeah, because Ben hates Russ. Other Ben, Wolf Ben, hates the Russ model. Kieran doesn't have Mort that I'm aware of. Yeah, I think it might just be me. Warhound for 30k Mechanicum led by Scoria. Ouch. Yeah, Scoria. Didn't Scoria like get banned or something? Wasn't Scoria like outright banned because he was too stupid? Ocean Fancy's next week. Mine's already in. The Custodes Flyer. Okay. Interesting pick. Again, if that's your army, that's your army. Also, I need to do the gold highlight as well before I put this cloak on, because once I put this cloak on, yeah, the gold highlight's just going to get super... Actually, no, they're not going to be super awkward. Alright, let's get the cloak on. Let's get you ready. Glue. Right. Let's get this on and get it on right. Actually, at that point, I can put the shoulder pads on as well. It goes on the left, doesn't it? Yeah, it goes on the left. Parfait, c'est parfait ça. Et la gauche. Yeah, this is his left, my right. As I look, his left. Oh, balls. It's no problem with shoulder pads, they don't always sit on very clean. Well, actually, they don't sit on too clean because they don't stick. Right. So that's on. Actually, I could just build the whole model and just finish the highlights from there. At this point, I could finish the whole model. Minus a few highlights. Mastodons tend to transport carry a freaking contemptor. Bloody hell. I mean, I think the Storm Raven can carry a regular Dreadnought, but I don't think it can carry a contemptor. Alright, just going to do some highlights and then that model's done. I get 20 minutes. Fair enough. I don't know if I'll still be streaming in 20 minutes. I'll try and still be streaming, but you might just be diving in to catch the end. If you take too long. Go to the back. And then immediately fall over. Bloody thing. Come on. Just sit still and behave. Right, there, sit. So, I need to do silver, I need to do gold, and that's it. Is that on gold? Yeah, there's silver and gold, I think. I don't want to do the gold just yet because I want to let everything dry, and there's gold on some of the bits that are drying. Yeah, perfect tree with no technical difficulties at all. I'm very happy about that. Very happy about that. To have no technical difficulties. I mean, I've jinxed it now and it's going to crash, but hey, the more you know. Oh, go away. Don't tempt fate. I know. Generally, it has been a good stream. I know we've not had the same amount of like news and discussion as I'd like because of the whole. There's not been much about the Idoneth the past few days, but we did have a bit of an FAQ discussion, which was nice, and we've got everything else in, which has been good. And what the hell? That wasn't there before. That certainly wasn't there before. Burnt your onion rings. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I certainly am. I'm not the biggest fan of onion rings, but I'm certainly partial to them from time to time. Yep. Good. I ain't no calamari. I've never been a fan of calamari, if I'm honest. Like, squid's never done it for me. In all honesty, squid has never been my thing. Just the gold, and then this guy is done. And ain't that a good thing? Ain't that a good thing? So, Oricama gold. Proper shake, because this thing's an absolute pain in the ass. Once more to Twitter. Okay, good to know. I'll do that while I'm shaking this paint. So you can carry up to 2 dreads, and each dread counts as 10, and the total carry capacity is up to 40. Where's your sorcerer? I don't have my Magnus images saved here. I've done an entire video showing off my Magnus, to be fair. So I did an entire video, I did an unboxing video for him, I did my initial thought, my reaction to him, and I did the painted model finished as well. So you've got plenty of chance to check it out, and yeah, the full gallery of images, both on my Twitter and on our Facebook page. to admit the Mastodon does sound pretty good. Not that I'll ever use it because I don't collect an Imperial army, but good to know. You can also Hellforge a Mastodon. Oh, lovely! That's just great. That's great. Great. Yeah, the Primarch models are really nice to paint. When I was doing Magnus, it was so natural to do that there was no chore at all to paint. I think it helped that, well, it was Magnus and I loved the model, but it really was no chore at any point. So I sympathise with that thought. I don't think I'd want to do it again because I wouldn't have the same drive to get it right because I don't like all the other Primarchs the same. But I do get what you're coming from with that. Would I use the Space Force code to the World Eaters since my chapter is a mixture? Depends on whether you want them to be devoted to Khorne Chaos Marines or you want them to be loyal. If you want them to be loyalist, use the Space War Codex. If you want them to be renegade, use the World Eaters Tactics. I think that's the best balance I can give you. Depends on which side you want them on. 900 plus points. Ouch! That's a lot of points. Then again, considering what you've said it can do, I'm not that shocked, actually. Right, so do I want to do anything else with this model? No, you know what? I think that model's just about done. So there you go. That is the second Palador of the unit and the second to last model in my collection that I have to do. Admittedly, not the best for the exact lighting, but they'll be in the next episode of A Town Called Malice, obviously, and we can fully show them off there. So that makes 2, and that just leaves the Prime. To be loyalist. Alright, well there you go then. There's an answer for you. 25% in a heresy armor can be a Lord of War. Well, that's just to allow you to get the Primarchs mainly. But yes, fair point. Well, it's actually just to allow you to take the Primarchs, but not in stupidly small games, where they just break the game and just big Primarch fight. Oh yeah, they're not based. I know they're not based, but that's last on my list of things to do. So like what I might do is in the off season, over the next month or so when I finished all my models, I might just go back over basing a few things. So like get my Paladors based, get my Second Lord of Kilo based, just get a few things based as far as I can, because then, well, it helps. They look better that way. They do. They do look better that way. But thank you. I appreciate what you say. Anyway, I'm probably not going to stay on much longer because I want to do a little bit more uni work before I call it a night. There was a waterfall attacks to HQ. Yeah, there's I think there's 1 per 1,000 suns that allows you to do something like that. So lets Magnus be its leader or something, and he has the HQ slot. But that forces you to take a huge amount of psychic. So it's psychic terminators as your troops, something like that. But yes, I know that one. I know there are those that exist for that. But yes, because that model's done and there's not really much more to discuss on my end, I'm not going to go for much longer, but we'll go to 2.5 hours, so we'll have 5 minutes, so you guys can get any last questions or thoughts in before we wrap the stream up, because, well, it would be unfair of me just to dive out now before giving you a chance to have your last thoughts. So, how about it? Any last questions? Get them in there. God of the Kings and the King is PS. Well, that's good to know. I wonder what happens to third Lord of War for Chaos Armor Super Heavy Detachment. So Zeracnol, Hellforge, Fellblade. Not sure. No problem. It's always fun to discuss these things, and if I can get some work done at the same time, then all the better. Since that's also important to me. Getting my hobby done is good, and doing it in this format means that I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I get I get many birds killed with 1 stone. I get content out. I get to talk to the community, and the community gets a chance to talk to me. And yeah, and I get to get my hobby done, which is great. Magnus with strength D Nova. Yeah, Magnus can do some utterly ridiculous crap. Like, I'm in no argument there that Magnus can do some utterly stupid stuff. But, yeah, I'd run the Guard of the Crimson King, not for competitive reasons, but simply for fluff reasons. Like, I mean, Magnus and the Sekhmet Terminators just sweeping everything aside with psychic power. Just so thematically fitting. And I would, like I say, I wouldn't do it for comp, I'd do it for fun. But, yeah, ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Why am I yawning? It's only 20 past 10, it's not even late. Well, not late in the grand scheme of things. Oh, I will. I mean, my exams are in like 3 weeks' time. Literally today, a month today, I'll have finished my exams. 18th of May is my last exam day. So, I've not got long to go, and then I'll be here until the end of June to do the resits, just in case I need to do the resits. And then I want to play, and I'm back in England, and I can game to my heart's content. And have food out of an oven. And have friends. I'm looking forward to going home. In many ways. And good luck to you as well, Ron, with your exams, because obviously I know you've got your own coming up, just as I do. Ah. Need to spend more 30k, enjoy the streams. Good. Yeah, start again for 4th year. Oh yeah, 4th year is going to be... 4th year is going to be an experience in more ways than one, I think. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I expect. We will cross that bridge soon enough. But hey, that's for the future, not for the now. Anyway, I think I will wrap it up here. So thank you very much for coming out and sticking around, because we've pretty much had a very consistent view rate throughout the night, and I do appreciate that. So thank you all for coming out and sticking with me, having that talk, and all of that good stuff. As for upcoming content, I will be releasing 40k stories on Saturday, of course, like I always do. And I will be getting the Islander Deepkin Battle Tome. What I'm probably going to do is I will go to Games Workshop and buy the Battle Tome on the Saturday, and then I will stream it on the Sunday. So we'll have a extended stream, probably slightly early. So we'll probably stream more like 5 or 6 p.m. EU, and we'll have a long stream where I'll just review the battle tome where you guys can chip in your ideas, and we'll do that because I really want to do that, but I don't want to do it in like a video review format where, I don't know, I just want to do it in a long live stream format. So that's the plan. I will make a video announcing the live stream on the Saturday, assuming I get the battle tome. If I don't, then I will go to Games Workshop at the next convenient opportunity and we'll do a review stream ASAP. But that's the plan. So Games Workshop Saturday, buy the Ironeth battle tome, then a review stream on the Sunday. Make sure you tune in on Saturday for 40k stories, which I think is actually the Red Scorpions. Is it the Red Scorpions? Let me check my not uploaded yet pile. If this loads. Let me check my not uploaded yet pile. This is what the color goes to refresh because it's a bit buggy. So yeah, I think it's, it will be Red Scorpion. So make sure you tune in for that, and then I'll have the stream for you on the Sunday, and then we're back to my thoughts on the big FAQ will be out on the Monday. So yes, I hope you look forward to all of that, and I hope to see as many of you as possible for the Ironeth review stream at the weekend, assuming I get the book. So thank you all for watching, ladies, gentlemen, and Xenos of all ages. This has been Tactica Imperialis. Until the next time, I'll see you all again. Good night.